Here I am, live with the brunch with Brian. I miss you guys. I missed you. So I'm back. I missed a couple of days at a busy event. Now, at this event, we were doing live calls, which went really well. I always love to do live calls in front of audiences. It's exciting and it shows how deals are out there and makeable and doable. And so we closed a couple of deals for some students, and that's part of our Wolf Steel Club is when we will close deals for you as well. But we love the real estate investing business. We had a really exciting event and a game-changing event. You know, when people come to an event, sometimes it can be a real game changer. It can be a motivator. It can shift the way you think. And that's what Brunch with Brian's are all about. Shifting the way you think to a more positive frame. So, you know, all of your life is framed. How are you framing your life? You know, when you go to an event or you know, even a movie, the first 5 minutes kind of frame the event. They set it within a certain context. So, what is the context of the Brunch with Brian's? Well, I want to pop in every day or 4 days a week into your life and just energize you and help you keep thinking positively. Always stay on the bright side of life. And now I'm not perfect at that for sure. I mean, I have my challenges as well, staying positive and staying motivated and staying focused. The trickiest things are staying motivated and focused because I don't normally talk about this, but there's a lot of rejection in this business. Okay. I mean, let's be honest. You're getting a lot more no's than you are yeses. So are you mentally fortified? Are you mentally formidable that you can handle some no's and you can persist and you can hang on to your dreams? That's one reason I talk about desire so much, because the more you build up your desire and have strong desires, then those little, you know, oh, that was a bad phone call or that person hung up on me or whatever. We had somebody who actually said on the phone, I don't like your attitude to Lynette. But this guy, you know, she came on, she said, you know, is the house still for sale? Remember, that's one of our first lines. We want to get a yes there. We want to get them in the habit of saying yes in the beginning. So we say, do you have a couple minutes to talk? Is the house still for sale? Yes, yes. Oh, wow, they're saying yes to me. All right. So then you get to the call and you get to, is this house still, you know, is the house still for sale? And this guy goes, well, and Lynette goes, well, did it sell? He said, no, it didn't sell, but you know, I'm not sure I'm really selling it. I'm going back and forth. And right there, I could tell he lit Lynette's fuse. She was kind of like halfway annoyed right there. But the call went pretty well, you know, and then it got a little testy. He was trying to run the call, and boy, Lynette doesn't like it when somebody else tries to take control of the call. So she got a little testy. He got a little testy, and he said, I just don't like your attitude," and he hung up. Okay, so well, guess what happened? He called the student back, and he said, "I still want to do this." So I mean, it's crazy. Even when we had sort of a contentious call there, and that's why, guys, just be super nice. I mean, you know, your goal is to be super nice and friendly, and your job is to be persistent. Okay, that's your biggest job. If you want to be successful in this business, you're not going to get handed deals. Actually, sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you will stumble across a deal, get a deal from somebody in your family. That's a good one, guys. Sometimes people get their first deal from somebody selling their house in their own family, and you don't have to overcome the trust issue. You can, you know, they trust you already. So they say, do you have an exit strategy for my house? And can I keep getting paid? Guys, how good would it be for somebody with an $800 a month payment? They move, they sell the house, they're looking to sell the house, but they don't need to sell the house. Now, in some instances, people need to sell their house to move to their next house. They need the down payment or they need the something from this house to be able to move into the next house. However, if we work it out, a lot of times their payment is low enough on this first house where we could even pay them a couple $100 more, where they could just be getting a $200, $300 a month positive cash flow with doing nothing for the rest of their life. That's a positive for a lot of people. And, you know, a nice cash flow like that, you just got to make it clear what we're offering. Now with sellers, obviously our product, so to speak, is actually a method for selling their house. We're offering them a method for selling their house. And guess what? Some people, that method doesn't work. And so we got to get used to being a little thick skinned, and it doesn't mean they don't like you. Okay. Rejection doesn't mean they don't like you, and it doesn't mean they don't respect you. What it means is your plan doesn't work for me. And it also, you might throw in a little bit of impatience from taking a lot of calls from realtors and looky-loos, not serious people. So if you put your house on Zillow, let's look at it from their point of view, and you didn't list it through an agent, which means you're willing to take a bunch of calls, you're willing to show the house yourself, you're also have some way to figure out how to do the paperwork and stuff. So you're a little bit sharper than the average bear. Okay, so, and you're also getting calls, and you're getting a lot of agent calls, tons of agents calling. Hey, I see you're listed for sale by owner. If I listed it, I could get you 100,000 more, or whatever, their pitch. So they have to listen to these realtors. They have to listen to, people who aren't serious or whatever, calling them about this house. So when you call, maybe they don't have the best mood. Maybe they don't have the best attitude about taking calls on the house. They're a little impatient, a little skeptical at this point. That's okay. Accept that. Now, some of them, amazingly, they've taken a lot of calls and they're still super friendly. They're just a super friendly person, and that's just who they are. Okay, but a lot of people get a little bit annoyed at the process, especially, mostly we're calling after 30 days. So they've had this thing on listed for 30 days and it's not selling. Okay, at least 30 days. Some of the ones we call are like 90 days. So that's going to be someone. Now you'd think, wow, so if I call, they're going to treasure that call, because they really must be motivated at this point, having the house up for sale for 100 days. But maybe their fuse is kind of short. Maybe they've taken a lot of calls that are annoying and stuff, and they're not that good at staying persistent. So the key here is persistent positiveness, persistent positive attitude. PPA, persistent positive attitude. Can you do it? Well, I want you to start thinking about that. Persistence. Think about the persistence. Perseverance, meaning basically the same thing. Sticking to it. Okay. I love this quote from George Washington. He says, "I recommend to you what I endeavor to practice for myself: patience and perseverance." So being patient, you need to be patient in this business. You can't just necessarily go get a deal at the snap of your fingers. You have to kind of work it. You got to work a little bit. Sometimes we get lucky, sometimes something falls into our lap. We just got a call. One of the calls we actually made at this event was somebody saw the signage on the Mercedes. So I drive a black Mercedes SUV, and it has a lot of signage on it. And so somebody from way down in Casa Grande, I don't know what they were doing up here because I haven't been down to Casa Grande. They saw the car up here, and it's not that far. It's about maybe 30 miles south of Phoenix area, but very commutable for folks. And so the guy has a real situation. He's had the house. He hasn't had it for that long. He bought it in 2021. Now he's having marital problems, and he declared bankruptcy last year. So he's got, he's behind on the payments, but he's got some equity in the property. If we just take it over, and that's the goal here, and that's what we're working out with him, we're going to take over his mortgage. He owes about $235 on it. The Zestimate says $266. The house is in perfect condition. He just bought it in 2021. And it looks great on Zillow, so it's going to show real well. So we just have to, we're working with him and his wife, and that's kind of a tricky situation on these divorce situations, because they don't always agree with each other, and you got to get them on the same page here. But this is looks like a great deal that we're going to be closing. I'll keep you up to date on it, but that's another one that just, dropped in our lap kind of, because we drive around with a car with a sign on it. So sometimes you get a little bit lucky. Just make sure there's some kind of marketing out there, and make sure you're telling everybody. Make sure everybody in your life knows that you're looking for sellers and buyers. Remember, I gave you that text once, that really good text you should send out to everybody in your phone. And that's just that simple little text with everything going on in the real estate market, comma, I've been a lot more active lately, period. If you send me a seller or buyer I help, comma, I'll pay you $1,000, period. I'm not a typical investor, comma, I often pay full price. period. Those 3 lines, okay? You can watch this over if you didn't write that down. So use those 3 lines, get those texts going out, get some kind of way that people can find you, and then just do everything you can to stay persistent. Stay persistent and realize when you get rejection, when you hear a no, it's not personal. Don't take it personal. In fact, one of my favorite sayings is even if they make it personal, don't take it personal. So if they say, oh, you're a jerk, that sounds a little bit personal, right? But you don't take it personal. They don't know you. They don't know a thing about you. You're some voice on the phone. You know what they know? They know that they're frustrated with their situation. Okay, so they're just taking it out on you. They're having a bad day. They're having a tough time selling this house, and your plan doesn't work for them. They need all cash. So they're a little frustrated. Okay, so don't take it personal, even if they make it personal. Okay, it's just, and you are going to hear no's in this business, no doubt about it, a lot of them. In fact, if you hear 9 no's for every yes, you're doing well. Okay, if you hear 19 no's for every yes, you're still doing well. Okay, so that's the thing, and they're not rejecting you, they're just rejecting your plan to buy their house. And you know what, guess what, in a couple of weeks they may not reject it. So follow up is crucial. Stick with these people, even if they, you know, all the people that we talk to on Monday night with these live calls, every one of them is a follow up. There wasn't a single one in there that was such a hard no that I would say don't call them back. The only time you don't call somebody back is if the house sells or if they say don't call me back. That's the only 2 times. Other than that, you're always calling someone back, at least giving them 30 days or giving them a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 30 days, but not more than 30 days. Don't put anybody out further than that. That's too far. Maybe 2 weeks or 4 weeks. Oh my gosh, I just covered so many different things today. So guys, it's always great to see ya. Michael, hey, awesome to see you today. Good morning. And Caleb, my loyal brancher, thank you. Caleb is always here. He does such a wonderful job. And Jennifer, too. You're always here, Jennifer. Good morning, everybody. Yes, we had a great trip up to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. So, guys, I want you to let's have a great weekend. You know, I always talk about your weekend on Friday, because I want you to. Saturday is just the best day to call people. I mean, that's what we find. It's the best day to call people. It's the best day to go out on meetings. It's the best day to get a hold of people. Sometimes you can call people on Saturday morning at 10 and actually set up an appointment for 2 o'clock. You can get appointments for that day. A lot easier than you can when you're calling during the week. So I highly recommend calling tomorrow. Okay. And let's start thinking about it right now. Let's call from like 10 a.m. to 11. It doesn't take a lot of calls. You probably don't have a ton of calls to make, but you know, get on the phone, and it's just the first call. Trust me on this. You're nervous, you're anxious, you're not totally feeling it. 2 things I want you to do: use affirmations. Okay. I wouldn't mind you doing some deep breathing too, 3 deep breaths, and then say, I am a master closer. I am a master caller. I'm a killer closer. Okay. And when you're saying your affirmations, pump those fists. You know, big smile on your face. Okay. So I always recommend doing affirmations, a couple at least, before making your calls. And then when you're making your calls, just make sure you got your script there, your opening call scripts, your closing call scripts, your closing call checklist. Remember, that's an important form to follow for your closing calls. And I like it when you have the Zillow listing pulled up on your computer. It's just nice to be able to reference it. You know, a lot of times you can come up with compliments for the seller off of that. Oh, I love the way you wrote your description. That's really a good compliment. People are very proud of their descriptions. If you think it is a good description, you should tell them that. Wow, I love your description on Zillow. Or I love the name of your company, or I love something. You know, always compliment the house. That's a good way to build rapport with these sellers. And remember, follow up with everybody. Patience and persistence. Okay, patience and persistence. And yes, you got to hear a lot of no's, but it's not you. They're just saying no to your plan for whatever reason. Selling on terms doesn't work for them right now, or they're scared of it or something. Okay, if that's the case, that's fine, but you will persist until they get more used to you and feel better about it. Okay, you're going to build that great rapport. Boy, I sure love doing these brunch with Brian's. I sure miss doing them when I can't do them. Tony is always here. Good morning. Writing your goals down twice daily and before making calls. Awesome. Yes, guys, keep your focus on the future, focus on success. Good knowledge, as always. Don't let somebody's bad mood ruin yours. I love it. Yes, don't let their mood be contagious. Have your enthusiasm be contagious, right? That's right. So keep your energy up, positive, persistent. They're not rejecting you. They're just they can't. The plan doesn't work for them. Sometimes they're the friendliest people in the world. Oh, I'm so sorry, I can't do it this way. I mean, you built some really nice rapport. We had a lady who's a baby nurse who it looks like we're going to buy her house. Really sweet lady, and I'm really under this estimate. I mean, incredible deal on this property. This is one I really want. So that one's in, where was that one? It was in some other state. I can't remember. I think it was in South Carolina. So there's some really good deals out there, guys, if you're hunting them down. And how many deals do you even need to find in a whole year? Literally, if you find 2 or 3 deals, I hate to reduce it to the ridiculous like that. But honestly, if you did one deal per year, you'd be in a lot better shape in 5 years. So let's just try to keep focused and try to keep putting your time in. You devote at least 5 to 10 hours a week to your real estate. And if you keep listening to me and keep following what we teach you, it will happen. Just stay persistent and you'll start getting deals on a regular basis. All right. So I love you guys and I really missed you when I'm gone, but I'm back. So happy brunch with Brian. Now have a great weekend. Make your calls, hit your KPI of 20 calls a week. Remember, that's all we're looking for, 20 calls a week. Don't even have to all be sellers. Can be to real estate attorneys, other people, referral sources, anybody. So let's really start focusing up and doing really well at that. Okay, patience. Let's just do an easy affirmation. Patience and persistence. Okay, patience and persistence. Let's do that one. Okay, ready? Ready? On three times on three. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Patience and persistence. Patience and persistence. Patience and persistence. Yes, that's how I approach my business. So, guys, let's take our deep breaths. Nice deep breath in. Hold it a little bit and let it go. Another one. Oh, it feels good. Ooh, I got to take a really deep one. I got to open up these lungs. Oh, I like to get my lungs full and then take a little more. That expands your lung capacity. Okay, it's like exercising your lungs. All right, so have a wonderful weekend, guys. Until I see you on Monday, keep expecting success, getting the awesome training from the Wolf Couple and Brunch with Brian. And as always, take action. Take